and I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to tell you about an author named Dan Jolley who wrote The Five Elements, The Emerald Tablet. And it's a book, it's an urban fantasy for middle grades. And he also, let's see if I can pull up the cover for you to see. He also wrote a new kids comedy called Mack Moon and the Pets. It's written by Dan Jolley and art by Russ Cox. This is something new he has. And this particular author I went to high school with, and he published his first writing when he was 19 years old. And he once let me read one of his sci-fi things, writing piece, before he was even a published author at the time. He was just a high school student like I was. And so anyway, well, there. But that is the new book. And there is a dog, a fish, and a cat who, this is like an interplanetary agency, and they like help go on missions. They're like agents, and it's pets. It's a cat, a dog, and a fish. It's kind of like Dogman, who's a policeman and a dog, but I think it's way cooler. But that's just my take on it. I liked the Dogman movie. I went and saw it. And like most adults, if you want to take your children and get a good nap, go see Dogman. Your children will be well entertained, and you might have a 5-minute nap in the process. But it was a cute movie. But this is Dan Jolley with an EY, and I got a verbal permission to read part of this. I'm going to read part of his prologue and part of his one. The prologue starts in 1906. It says, the subterranean smell came to Jackson right first. Thick and damp and dark. His eyelids didn't want to open, but he them. When they finally peeled back from his raw, gravelly eyes, he found himself staring at the intersection of 4 stone arches 15 or 25 above him. Where am I? He tried to look around, but couldn't. He strained to turn his head. Pain ground into his temples. He had to search out the cause of that pain, but his eyes, nope, it wasn't his eyes, sorry. But his hand stopped short, halted the metallic clank. He couldn't move his legs. He couldn't move his legs either. The sharp tang of panic began to rise in his throat. I'm shackled. Someone's chained me down. What? Hello, all of you that have joined. I'm reading, in case you missed it, The Five Elements, The Emerald Table by Dan Jolley. He's a popular writer. He's got some manga books. He came and spoke to some students a while back at a middle school for me. This is an urban fantasy book of his, and he has allowed me to read some of it to you today and share. So, and if you missed, his other book is a kids comedy coming. I think it may be out already. Probably find it at Amazon. There's a link that I'm going to try to share on Instagram and on my YouTube channel for him. Mack Moon and the Pets by Dan Jolley and Russ Cox. It's a comedy. Kind of makes me think of Dogman, but cooler, because Dan Jolley wrote it. But that's just my bias speaking. So, the sharp tang of panic began to rise in his throat. I'm shackled. Someone's chained me down. What? Jackson still moved his fingertips. He used them to feel around as best he could. He lay helpless, bound hand and foot to what felt like a massive stone slab. What? He'd at first thought to be a distant buzzing in his ears clarified. A soft ching filled the chamber where he was imprisoned. Jackson felt his panic grow. He didn't recognize the words, but it sounded like dozens of voices, and they were coming from all around him. He couldn't move his tongue. He could hardly even make a sound. I can't speak. Terror stabbed at him like a knife to his guts. Was he? Had someone drugged him? Where had he been? That someone could have slipped something into his food or his drink. The last thing he remembered was leaving the house with his father for an after-dinner walk. Everything else was gone. Papa! Papa! Help me! The words slammed inside his skull. Desperate, useless. The chamber's faint illumination shuddered and flickered like firelight. A writhing, dancing shadow filled across him, and only the metal strap holding his head in place kept Jackson from recoiling. But then his heart leaped. Papa! Jackson's father leaned over him, his fine white gold hair the same color as Jackson's, all but hidden by the cowl of a long black robe. Papa, help me! Get me out of here, Papa! But Jackson saw something in his father's eyes he had never seen before, something hard and cold like chips of ice. Without saying a word, his father moved away out of Jackson's sight. Now I'm going to flip to chapter 1. Okay, guys, Brett said, pushing coal black hair out of his face. Lily and Me'll lift on 3, and Gabe, you push. Got it? Gabe Conway squared his shoulders and gripped a length of rebar with pale hands. He wedged the rebar down beside the pinhole lid and nodded, while Brett and Lily Hernandez tightened their grip on the lid hook. Lily nodded too, until a few days ago she had had shoulder black length hair, just like her brother's, but on a whim had decided to get it cut into a short bob. Now she teased Brett endlessly about his shaggy emo hair. Brett glanced over his shoulder at Cos Smith. He was standing lookout at the mouth of the narrow alleyway, head swiveling back and forth. Beyond the alley, a bank of moonlit mountains had erased the top of the Golden Gate Bridge. All clear! For now, Cos whispered. He ran an anxious hand over his buzz cut. I hear a voice. Just hurry up. 1, 2, 3. The twins pulled, and Gabe pried with the rebar. The sewer cap was even heavier than it looked. But with the 3 of them pulling, the lid eventually squealed and grated its way free of the manhole. Brett and Lily dropped the hook beside Gabe's now slightly bent rebar, and Cos pattered over to him. Okay, everybody down, Brett barked. Gabe might have been a little irritated at the order, if not for the ridiculous grin plastered across Brett's face. Gabe had never seen Brett so excited, and Brett so excited a lot. Gabe clicked on his flashlight. Whatever you say, boss. He peered down at the rusty ladder riveted to the side of the vertical shaft. Why don't you take the lead? As if I wasn't going to. Brett clamped his own flashlight between his teeth and disappeared down the ladder in a flash. We're really doing this, huh? Cos one toe toward the opening. Can I just repeat that this is a terrible idea? It was a terrible idea, but Brett had it, and it's still terrible. What if there are, like, mutated alligators down there? A is for alligator. Or flesh-eating mole people. Or rats. Ew, I don't like rats. So let me read you what the back cover says. It says 5 elements. With the power of the elements, you can do incredible things. Throw a fireball, start an earthquake, summon a tidal wave. 4 friends. It all sounds impossible. So when Gabe, Lily, Brett, and Cos form a ritual binding themselves to fire, air, wind, and earth, they don't expect it to work. One city, they definitely don't expect to set off a chain of events that could tear San Francisco apart and its sinister shadow. But a power-hungry cult is plotting to merge our world with a twisted parallel dimension. And now it's up to Gabe, his friends, and their new elemental power to save their city from utter destruction. So, This was copyrighted, I believe, in 2016, and it has a lovely dedication for Tracy Always. So I just thought I would share that with you, and I was allowed to read some of it by the author, and it's for ages 8 to 12. It is a middle school urban fantasy. So it's kind of irony that it sounds like the destruction of San Francisco in this book could be parallel with the natural things happening in California. So that's kind of an odd kind of thing. But if you like Dan Jolley books and you have younger children, Mack Moon and the Pets, written by Dan Jolley and art by Russ Cox, is a new kids comedy. And when I get that book, I'll see if I can share some of that with you. So anyway, I'm going to get on to what I promised on Instagram that I was going to read, and it's going to be some children's stories and an Old MacDonald sing-along, and then I'm going to continue in the Lou Gehrig series reading about the famous baseball player and the disease named after him. But anyway, this is his early life in baseball, and the chapter Louie Makes the Team is the chapter that we're currently on. So I'm going to read A Visit to Grandma's House, written by Laura Gates Galvin, illustrated by Gill Guille. I love my grandma's house. It's my favorite place to be. Every time I visit, there's so much to see, to do, and to see. Home sweet home. I love my grandmother's house too. The kitchen is a busy place where Grandma cooks and bakes. She uses lots of recipe. We never make mistakes. I bet it's like happy little muffin accidents, like those happy little trees of Bob Ross. Grandma has games that she teaches me to play. It's what we like to do on every rainy day. My grandmother taught me how to play Chinese checkers and to play Sorry. I don't even know if anybody still plays the game Sorry anymore. I help Grandma in her garden. She grows vegetables and fruit. There's a little gnome who lives there. He's so funny and so cute. When it's time for lunch, Grandma always makes it fun. We have a backyard picnic on a blanket in the sun. It is a windy day. I can hear my wind chimes blowing here in northwest Georgia. On the piano in the living room, Grandma plays my favorite song. We dance, we clap, we sing. I could do this all day long. I could do this all day long. I like to dance. Together we do projects like making pretty art. With crayons, glitter, I make a great big heart. Do you like to dance? I do. There's a very special chair where I sit on Grandma's lap. It's Grandma's favorite place to take her daytime nap. And I find that the older we get, we need those naps. It's okay to take a nap if you need one. And those little ones need naps. Grandma has old albums she likes to share with me. They're filled with family photos. They're so much fun to see. I love family photos. I took most of the family photos. I am a hobbyist photographer, but I've been taking photos since I was 10 years old. At night, we chase fireflies beneath the great big moon. I love to visit Grandma. I can't wait to come back soon. My grandchildren don't call me Miss Gina. They call me Grammy. I am a Grammy. So that is a cute story. I think that would be a great gift for your little one for Easter time. I think that would make a great Easter birthday gift, Easter basket add-on. And this is Old MacDonald's Farm. You can sing along with me. We're not too old. Had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some cows, E-I-E-I-O. I'm out of the thing. So, with the moo-moo here and the moo-moo there, here a moo, everywhere a moo. And here's this one. Had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some hens, E-I-E-I-O. With a cluck cluck here and a cluck cluck there. Here a cluck, there a cluck, everywhere cluck cluck. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some pigs. With the oink oink here and an oink oink there. Here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. I like to say that old MacDonald had some vowels with the E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm. Donald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some horses, E-I-E-I-O. With a neigh-neigh here and a neigh-neigh there. Here a neigh, there a neigh, everywhere a neigh-neigh. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some sheep, E-I-E-I-O. With a ba-ba here and a ba-ba there. Here a ba, there a ba, everywhere a ba-ba. MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. There's a cow sound on that one. I like that. Then this one, I'm going to do next time. We're going to go right on into Lou Garrett. Louie makes the team. Louie makes the team. One spring day, Willie met Louie at recess. Harold and Tony and I are going to try out for the school baseball team, he announced. Sure, said Harold. We're nearly in the 7th grade now. They ought to let us play. Louie thought, I'm only 9, going on 10. I'm only finishing the 4th grade. I guess I'm too young, he said. When does practice start? When do you think practice will start? In the spring? That's my guess. That's me ad-libbing there. Next Monday, Willie answered. When Monday came, Louie went out to the schoolyard to watch. Most of the boys throwing the ball around were 7th and 8th graders. 7th and 8th graders. They were much bigger and older than he. He felt shy, but he noticed the public school 132 had some old uniforms and a few bats, balls, and gloves. He forgot his shyness and gave his name as at one of the tryouts. Then he began to practice with the boys. For 2 days they practiced, mostly throwing and catching. And only Louie of all his gang was selected. Harold said enviously, How in the world did you get on, Louie? But Louie didn't stop to wonder about that. He was interested only in the team now. He rushed off to the field. Louie, said the teacher in charge, you're the best catcher we've got. You're pretty slow and you've got a lot to learn, but I like the way you keep plugging. Just keep that up, son, and you'll get better. Louie did hustle. Every place he went now, he ran. He was sturdy and his muscles were hard from all his work and play and good food and sleep. But he was slow. He must learn to move faster, so he ran on his paper route. He ran to school. He ran on the playground. When the team practiced, he never wanted to sit down. When he wasn't batting, he wanted to be right behind. Rewind. When he wasn't batting, he wanted to be right behind the plate, catching every minute. He tried to learn everything he could. It was a new experience to have a mask and chest protector. Now he could move upright behind the batter without fear of being hurt by foul balls. But there wasn't any left-hand catcher's mitts for him. He still caught with his old mitt because he was used to it. He soon found there was a lot more to baseball than he had thought. He was amazed to find how much there was to learn about catching. He had to give signals to the pitcher, telling him how best to throw to fool the batter. He had to be ready. I lost my place. I'm so sorry. He's trying to fool the batter. He had to be ready to throw down to second base if there was a player on first trying to steal. Louie's head was spinning with all he was trying to learn, but he soon got better at catch throwing. When it came to batting, Louie was discouraged. He just couldn't cure himself of his old habit of stepping in the bucket. One April day, a practice game was scheduled. Louie was surprised and alarmed to see that there was going to be spectators. Willie and Harold and Tony and Goose, he didn't mind so much. There were a lot he didn't know. There was a lot. Were a lot he didn't know. Though children from the other school, worst of all, there were girls. Goose's sister was there. When she waved to him, his face turned crimson. He felt very ill at ease whenever any of the girls joined the gang walking home from school. And now, to have them watching the game, when it started, Louie had other things to hold his attention. Thank you. My hat's from Mad Hatter. Thank you. He just couldn't seem to hold onto the ball. The pitcher was in good form. He was sending the ball over the plate with more than his usual speed. Louie gritted his teeth and went after each one as best he could. How, nevertheless, several balls got past him, and one run was scored when he missed a high pitch. When it came his turn to bat, Louie found the opposing pitcher much better than those he had been accustomed to. He struck out 3 times. 3 times. Oh, dear. Publix 132 lost the game. Afterward, the teacher patted Louie on the back. "You'll do better one of these days." What book is this? This one is Lou Gehrig. It's a book about Lou Gehrig. He's a famous baseball player. I read earlier part of the 5 Elements book by Dan Jolley. And I read a book called Grandma Loves Me 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure which book you're referring to because I just saw your thing. Sorry. I was a late response. So, several balls got past him, and one run was scored when he missed a high outside pitch. When it came his turn to bat, he found the opposing pitcher much better than those he had been accustomed to. He struck out 3 times. Public School 132 lost the game. Afterward, the teacher patted Louie on the back. "You'll do better one of these days, Louie," he said. "I like the way you keep trying. I guess you just haven't had enough experience yet." The next day at practice, Louie himself shifted to the outfield behind the plate. Working out with his pitcher was the regular first baseman. Louie was heartbroken to lose his place. Only one game, but he loved to play so much that he tried just as hard at catching flies. He practiced swinging a bat time and time, even when there was no one to pitch to him. "Come on over here, Louie," called the teacher. "Yes, sir," said Louie. He ran the plate. "Now, Louie," the teacher said, "I want you to keep on practicing catch. I'll put you in every game I can. But we'll have to let someone else start the games until you get more experience." So Louie called for batting practice the rest of the afternoon. He was happy again. He told Mom about it, but she didn't seem to understand. Neither did Pop. But Pop had news of his own to tell. So next time, Fun for Mom and Louie. And so that was a book called Lou. He's a famous baseball player. And so I hope you are enjoying that. I'm on page 88, or will be next time. And so I hope you have enjoyed those stories. Hey, I'm going to make some fitness journey exercise videos later if you wanted those out. I'm about to go to a park. I'm about to run out of here. Got to go pick up some food. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you keep filling your with big, beautiful words and reading lots of books to keep your mind alive and fill it with knowledge and grow those big, beautiful brains. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Got to touch some buttons here.